Welcome to MarketTamer.com. It's the weekend. This is Saturday, the 30th of May, and we're going to take a look today at some stocks that are working in this market, and we'll discuss also strategies that might work too. We'll also talk about strategies that might not work. But first off, let's just look at the markets. We've been talking about the fact that in May we actually saw some relatively unusual behavior. If you look at the pattern of ups and downs throughout May, the first time we really saw a couple of up days here was right at the end, and in fact there was very strange movement right at the end of the day on Friday where the Dow was pushed up almost from flat intraday. In fact, we released a video with about 45 minutes to go, and the Dow was pretty much flat and yet closed up almost 100 points right above 8,500. So it seemed like there was a very strong push to breach that level by the end of the month for whatever reason. If we move on to the next chart, to the S&P 500, we see a similar pattern. Again, the only two up days in a row were right at the end of the month. And again, there was a strong push towards the end of the day, similarly with the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ of all the indexes is the one that's holding its own the best. It's right up around the top of its Bollinger Band here. It's the one that crossed above its 200-day moving average first. It's showing signs or greater signs of strength than the other two indexes. But on the whole, if we look at the action for the month in any of the indexes, it's been relatively flat. In fact, we haven't really gained much ground at all. And so it tells us that there's a lot of churning action going along, not much conviction in a continued uptrend at this point. As we've mentioned in previous videos, we need a confirmation of that to confirm that we're going to go higher. And until the market does confirm, there's no reason to get aggressive. So let's move on to stocks that have been working. Microsoft obviously had a big bounce off its lows, just like the market itself back in early March. It's continued higher. It's also just breached above its 200-day moving average on Friday, and it's showing signs of strength. Why would Microsoft potentially be doing well, better than many other stocks on a relative basis? Well, it's a very cash-rich company, and in tough economic times, that's exactly what we want to search for, companies that have a lot of cash. If we move forward and take a look at another company that's working well, this is McDonald's. Why is it working well? Well, it's really at the low end of the market. It's tailoring and catering to those that do not have a lot of cash, which increasingly is a bigger population at this point. So not only McDonald's, but also on the next chart we'll see Walmart. Walmart's historically not a very volatile stock. It tends to, on a relative basis compared to many other stocks, tends to stay within a tighter range. Obviously we're seeing that over the past few months. The low end of the range was somewhere around 46. We're looking recently here, since this breakout occurred, it was right around the low to mid 50s area. And again, Walmart caters to the low end of the market. A stock that is not performing so well is Apollo, and in the context of strategies that work and don't work in the market, we'll first address those that may not work. Strategy, for example, such as a covered call, is very, very popular and can be very effective, especially in bull markets and stagnant markets. But the danger of it is placing it when stocks are dropping. For example, let's say placing a covered call, you see an uptrend, you place it around here, and then the stock starts to drop. What do? Well, there are lots of adjustment strategies which we teach at MarketTamer.com, but if the only thing you know is how to hold that position, it could be quite dangerous, in fact, to keep holding it as the stock continues lower and lower and lower ultimately, and particularly if there are fake outs like this move up here in late March. So be very cautious of just sticking to one particular strategy. It's much like somebody having a toolkit but only using a hammer. There are many ways to craft the product that you wish to create. Similarly with trading as well. So if you'd like to ask more questions, please don't hesitate to join us at MarketTamer.com.